Okay, I was almost done. I had 2 more examples I needed to do, so here we go. I've written the abbreviated version of the horizontal asymptote rule up here for us. And example B has f of x equal to 2x squared over x squared minus 1. So the first thing I'd like to do is find the vertical asymptotes. And the rules that we wrote down said we set the denominator equal to 0, and we solve. And we would get plus or minus 1 equal to the x. So we have 2 vertical asymptotes, one at positive 1 and one at negative 1. For the horizontal asymptotes, we're supposed to compare the degrees in the numerator and the degree in the denominator. So the degree in the numerator is 2, and the degree in the denominator is 2. So n equals m, because 2 is 2. So that means we're going to follow this rule. So the horizontal asymptote is y equals the leading coefficient in the numerator over the leading coefficient of the denominator. So the horizontal asymptote is the line y equals 2. So this graph has a vertical asymptote at positive 1, another vertical asymptote at negative 1, and it has a horizontal asymptote at 2. So those asymptotes have divided this graph into 6 sections. And these are all one big section here. Into 6 sections. And we're going to learn how to figure out what the graph looks like later, not today. All right. The last thing I wanted to talk to you about is example 3. And it says, find all asymptotes and holes in the graph. So we're gonna learn this by doing. Example 3 is f of x equals x squared plus x minus 2 over x squared minus x minus 6. So before we jump in and we start trying to find asymptotes or holes, we would like to make sure the top and the bottom are simplified. And we're going to simplify by factoring. If you happen to look back at the examples that we've done so far today, none of them would factor. This is the first one that we've gotten that would. So just bit by bit, teaching us how to do this. So the numerator is going to factor because it's a quadratic with x and 1 and 2 and a minus and a plus. The denominator also factors. It's x and 2 and 3 and plus and minus. Now, earlier we would have said that the vertical asymptotes happen where these are equal to 0. But if you notice, when we have factored, there is an x plus 2 term in the numerator and the denominator. And we're going to divide those out. Now, this x plus 2 is still important. If you put negative 2 into this equation, this is going to give you a 0. And a 0 times x minus 3 is going to give you a 0 in the denominator. But it doesn't cause an asymptote. Since I'm able to divide it out, this is a hole at x equals negative 2. So there's an actual hole in the graph. So first we will look to see if there are holes in the graph by factoring it to see if anything cancels out. And then we do the vertical asymptote rule. Set the denominator equal to 0. What's left in the denominator after we have divided out? So there's this left. So we have a vertical asymptote at 3. And then we will do our horizontal asymptote rules by looking back at the original, comparing our degrees, they are the same. So if n equals m, the horizontal asymptote is the leading coefficient in the numerator over the leading coefficient in the denominator. So the horizontal asymptote is at y equals 1. So we're just learning so much about these graphs. I think that is all I will do for today, and I'll let you try a few of these. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me if you need me. Have a good weekend.